Welcome to Women in the Middle Entrepreneurs, the podcast that gives you an unfiltered, behind-the-scenes look at what it's really like being a woman in the middle who's over 50 and following her entrepreneurial dreams. Grab a superhero cape, girlfriend, because you deserve one. I'm your host, Master Certified Life Coach and Midlife Mentor, Suzy Rosenstein, and I am excited to inspire you with interviews that feature all of this midlife amazingness. Let's go. Hey there, welcome back to the show. We have a really exciting interview ahead of us about continuing to morph your passion for English as an entrepreneur. Today, you'll be meeting Jennifer Lebedev, a woman in the middle entrepreneur who's been an online English teacher, content creator for over 15 years in really creative ways. Welcome to the show, Jennifer. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's an honor.
Oh, an honor. That's so cute. Oh, thank you so much. No, it's really fun to have somebody on from New England as well, because as I mentioned in our little pre-interview, my roots are from New England. So it just feels like home. So welcome, welcome. So I know we're going to have a good conversation about your midlife entrepreneur story. We're going to be talking about your business and what's going really well, and also what midlife issues might be getting in your way a little bit, a lot, whatever, and are challenging for you in maybe your life as well as being a business owner. So let's get things started with one of my favorite questions. How old are you? How long you've been an entrepreneur? A little bit about your entrepreneurial journey, and of course, what you do. So take it away.
I am happy to say with a smile, I am 51 years old. It took me a while to get there, but I can say it now. Even a year ago, I hid my age.
Really?
I did. I did. I resisted saying it, but I can say it now. I feel proud to own it. I am 51 years old, and I'm excited to go through my 50s now.
Oh, so great. Well, happy birthday. Welcome. Whenever your birthday was, you're rocking it.
Thank you. Thank you. So I'm 51 years old and I've been online for about 15 years. So I did not go online thinking I'm going to be an entrepreneur. So I can't say when it exactly happened because I went on just doing what I wanted to do, which is teach. It's my passion. I didn't even pursue money. YouTube did not tell us that there would be a way to monetize all of this. I simply missed teaching. I didn't see an easy path going back into the classroom. I'm an English language teacher. I came from the traditional classroom. I stepped out with the help of a bridge. I was writing a textbook at the time. When that ended, I had a choice of what to do, but I had two children. My daughter had just been born. I had then an infant and a toddler. And I didn't want to go back to a full-time job in the classroom. But I missed teaching. I knew that there's more to me than being a mom. As much as I embraced it and loved being a mother, I missed the other hat that I was so comfortable wearing. I know that I could do more. And I wanted to put that hat back on, even if I wouldn't get paid for it. So YouTube had just come along and I went on YouTube just to experiment, to put some videos out there. I had no clue because I had a camera that had a video function. I didn't even know how to edit. I just knew how to, let's press record. I'll talk. I won't make any mistakes because I don't know how to edit. And we'll just upload it. And I posted those and lo and behold, people reacted positively.
Now, Jennifer, what year was that? Do you remember?
2007.
Oh my God, because you're really an early adopter.
I was. It was the Wild West.
Exactly. And I still think, a lot of people still consider it the Wild West, but you were an early adopter. Yes. And I love how honest you were. It's like, I didn't know what I was doing because even when Facebook Live came on, which was much later, I remember being so scared. I downloaded a $7 program from a person who looked very normal, midlife, very successful. And I took that $7 program and step by step, I pressed the button. I did everything so nervously. And then ironically, I ended up with a young client early in my my coaching practice and a male. And I was telling him about it. I'm like, you should really go on Facebook Live. And he just did it right away. He didn't need to download a program. He was making mistakes live for his first time.
Yeah.
His whole attitude was so different than mine. And I thought, wow, we midlife gals have some tech challenges when it comes to our mindset, Way to go.
Yes.
Such an early adopter.
Thank you.
Okay.
But but the message here from both of us then is like, don't let that fear hold you back. Like you're never going to feel completely ready for anything. If you say, oh, you have to have this, and this before you go live. No, just do it.
And what were you talking about back then?
I just had I knew I could teach. I mean, I had the confidence in my ability to teach. And so I thought of some topics that people would like if they're learning English. And I went unscripted. I had some ideas inside my head and I just pressed it. And, I love to teach. It comes naturally to me. So that wasn't the issue. It was the technology. But I can say the same thing happened years later when I decided to go on Instagram. It's like, okay, so how do we do this? Like, it's like, what to do as a teacher, but to try to figure out these new tools, you just do it. And I'd ask the audience, okay, guys, so as I end this, does anyone know how do I save this?
I couldn't even figure out how to end it, Jennifer. I was the first time I went on live Instagram, I'm like, I just couldn't figure out how to end. I don't know what my problem was.
You ask people. They're fine. I think it's human. It's natural. It's all about this beautiful connection. People want that authenticity. I don't think you have to be perfect. And I think that's a message to take away, whether you're online or offline, just go with it, go forward with the best intentions, be honest when you need help, reach out. And sometimes the people right in front of you, your audience, will be the ones to provide support.
Well, and you're not just a hack with YouTube. You've got over 1 million subscribers and you published textbooks. You created an award-winning blog. You were probably an earlier person on the blog, on blogging too, weren't you?
Yes. And, the other lesson that I can say that has happened offline and online is just putting yourself out there, showing what you're capable of. And sometimes you don't know exactly the path that you want to take, but people will start to present opportunities. And then it's up to you to figure out which ones are worth pursuing. And you won't always make the best choices. But again, the opportunities will be there. So just going onto YouTube, that was a matter of becoming visible. I caught people's attention. I mean, I was teaching for people to learn English, but there were other people paying attention, like somebody from marketing in a publishing company who then wrote email and said, do you want to blog? I'm like, I guess. Okay, I'll be a blogger. So they gave me some guidance and they also helped me, create the logo and a name. And then I just started writing. I love to write. That also comes naturally to me. And so the platform and the opportunity appeared to pour out another talent. And I'm just blessed to have that. And YouTube has presented different opportunities over the years. Again, not knowing exactly what I was trying to create, but opportunities appeared. And little by little, I was handpicking and crafting this vision of what I wanted.
Wow. What was the blog called?
It is still there. I'm happy to say I've been on YouTube since 2007. I've had a WordPress blog for teachers since 2008. And it's just English with Jennifer, a blog for teachers. So whereas YouTube, I really target learners, my blog is for other teachers. And the beauty of the blog is that it's been a reflective practice. I use it for reflection. I now write on a weekly basis, and I can't say how it's just so beautiful that I get to reflect and share them my reflections. And yes, it's part of it's a small revenue stream, but it's all part of the bigger picture. So again, if you go put yourself out there, show what you're capable of, some opportunities will appear. And hopefully some of those opportunities will be monetized. And little by little, you can piece things together into a living. And that's how my journey has been. Some people come online, they know exactly who they want to be, the business they want to build. That wasn't my journey. And I think that's another thing I want to share is that you don't have to have all the answers from the get-go. These journeys can all look different. And mine perhaps is very different from some other people who've built successful businesses. I've sort of built as I went along. And I guess what guided me were my values, my beliefs, and generally what felt right inside, what aligned with what I wanted to do.
Exactly. Well, I'm a firm believer that we're on the right path. We just don't know what we but all we can do is really take the next best step. That's really all we can do. So it becomes a matter of trusting your ability to know when that feels right. Like to lean in. When does it feel right to lean in a little bit and to trust yourself? So I love what you shared about opportunities, because really they are everywhere. But if you're not open to them, you won't see them.
Yes. And again, other things can happen. The opportunities have appeared for me. I feel blessed. At the other times when I've struggled and, had health issues, I think I became somewhat blinded to some of those opportunities because I was so inwardly focused on trying to hold it together that I wasn't maybe displaying everything I was capable of, or maybe I still was, but I didn't see as many opportunities as I went along sometimes, especially when I was having struggles within.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk more about that in a second, but I want you to tell us a little bit about how you how did you end up writing this book, Being a YouTuber, One Creator's Bumpy Road to 1 Million Subscribers. So how did that happen?
It's a long title, isn't it? But I thought, well, this captures what I want to say is that, it's all about being a YouTuber, my experience. And again, I say there are all kinds of journeys in life, and me being a YouTuber may not be the same experience that other creators have.
You know, what's so funny is that you had trouble saying you were 50, but now to me, being a YouTuber sounds harder to say.
Because it's over 2007, it is definitely part of my identity at this point. I am a YouTuber. But I also will say that first and foremost, I am a teacher. That's the other important thing is you have to know, who are you? What are the different hats that you wear? Which ones are most important to you? And even maybe which ones you want to wear the most. And I think first and foremost, I'm a mother, I'm a teacher, and then I'm a YouTuber and content creator. So I have to keep remembering my priorities and accept that. But I wrote this because what happened in 2022, oh my gosh, I hit 1 million subscribers, which long time ago, I thought it would never happen, because I was excited when things took off, and taking off back then was hitting 30,000, 40,000. I'm like, wow, look at this. I never thought I could even hit 100,000. When it did, I was like, oh my gosh, you get this little play button. You're so excited. But 1 million seems so out of reach. And I've been learning about dreaming bigger, because my dreams in terms of like YouTube and being a content creator were rather small. I just had these self-limiting thoughts that it wouldn't be possible. Only people who do funny blogs and beautiful makeup tutorials, maybe they hit 1 million, but surely, this mom, especially aging mom, teaching English is not going to hit 1 million, but it happened. And now I also understand that other people had come on having different experiences and reached that milestone a whole lot faster than I did. But I wanted to say to people, I reached it. I'm proud. And I know other people look at this milestone and applaud it. But at the same time, I want to be honest, people, it was hard. This was not easy. And if somebody has the courage to show that kind of story, and that would be helpful. And I didn't see anybody sharing that kind of story. If you go online and look about YouTube books, it's all about how to build your channel, how to build an audience, how to gain that following of 1 million, how to make revenue. It's all that how to. What about just the how? What about the how experience? And personally, I wanted to open up and share my doubts, my struggles, and maybe that would help other content creators who are also on this path, hoping that just might be possible to scale it and get there. I wanted to let them know that I've had my share of dark times too. I've had my times of wanting to say, maybe I should just quit. Maybe I should do something else. Maybe I should go back to the traditional classroom. I'm tired, but I persisted. I felt that I couldn't, even if you took away all my revenue right now, I don't think I could walk away from this. It's just too important to me, what I've built and what I'm doing. And even if I don't reach 10 million, it's okay now. I know that I've done something, I've contributed something, and I still want to contribute. So the book is about reaching that milestone and really pulling back the curtain and showing people, in my case, and perhaps in other people's, but in mine, it was hard and I've struggled and I've made a lot of mistakes along the way, but I still somehow reached it. And it also coincided with my 50th birthday. So I hit the milestone, and a few weeks later, I turned 50, and I still didn't announce it. I went live. I thanked everybody. I had the celebration. But for me personally, I thought, oh my gosh, this is like a big year. There's so many things that had happened. Turning 50, hitting 1 million, going through this whole house renovation. It's like, woo, I went through a lot. And I really needed to pause and take stock and think, where am I right now? By the way, I'm 50. Oh my gosh. Okay. This really does mean at least half of my life or more is gone. Am I happy with what I've done? Am I happy with where I am? Where am I going from here? Can I go forward in the same way? And do I want to? Because the path had been so hard, I don't think I want to go along the path doing some of the same things I had been doing. I think I need to pause and reflect on how I need to make some changes, how I can move forward and do this in a better way, not just for people who want to learn with me, but for me. Because if I'm not healthy, how can I possibly contribute my very best?
Yeah, that's true. I wanted to point out a couple of things about your story because it's been similar for me with podcasting and the importance of the book. There's a few reasons it's important. So first is that people aren't alone because you're not the only one that it was difficult for sure. And I get that feedback all the time in the podcast and sharing more of the process of what's going on instead of just outcome, goal attainment, things. The other thing is it's really inspirational when somebody like you, a midlife, work a day English teacher, sets a goal and hits a really notable milestone because so many people are inspired by that. And when I first became, I started to call myself a podcaster, I was very inspired by somebody who, was ahead of me and she kept doing it and really showed me that it was possible. So you're being so inspirational by just showing people that things are possible. So, so good. And I love that you are honest about the bumpy road.
Yes.
And bumpy.
It is. And of course, we all want to present ourselves in the best way possible and share the best version of ourselves, of course. But I think it's important for some people to hear the backstory of it all because, I also, for the book and for my channel to update it, took some nice professional photos. It all looks pretty good, I think. That is me feeling proud at 50. Hey, I still look pretty good. But, I surely hope that nobody would look at my videos or my photos and say, she has this perfect life or things are so easy for her. I wouldn't want anyone to feel by comparison that somehow they're not enough because I want them to know I have the same things going on in my head. Am I enough? It's just I found enough confidence to take the risks and to keep trying and to be resilient enough to bounce back from setbacks. But I wanted to open up because I feel it would help other people. And I want them to know, if anything, it's not hitting 1 million that should inspire people. It's like, despite everything that I keep going on, the biggest thing I'm proud of in my life is that I've remained professionally active all these years, regardless of whatever numbers or titles or awards or accomplishments. I'm just so happy that I've been able to stay professionally active and actually earn enough to call it a living. That's what being an entrepreneur is to me right now.
Yeah, well, you're really talking about is grit. And there's a lot of new research about the importance of grit. Yeah, you really did. Okay, now you hinted at some health problems.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about those midlife hiccups, challenges, giant catastrophes, things that typically go on in midlife that aren't being talked about enough, how they impact not just you, but your ability to stay professionally active, your ability to run your business the way ideally you'd like to. So tell us a little bit about what that was like for you.
I think all of the health problems that began to surface, actually, I think things started little by little around 39 through my 40s. And then they were all messages and signs that I didn't want to see or didn't want to read. It's life or the universe saying, you got a little lesson to learn here. And me sort of, no. I have something to do today. I have my to-do list and I have a video to edit. And then more and more these health problems would surface and they were hindering me, slowing me down. I could hide them easily behind makeup and a smile and a happy voice, but there were lots of things going on. I had this month where I had a tension headache and I thought my head was going to be crushed with this invisible vise. It was really difficult. And I understand that I wasn't taking care of myself. I wasn't sleeping well. That was one issue. And you can pull those long nights when you're 20 and it still doesn't feel great, but you can do it. But as you get older, being sleep deprived is a lot harder to deal with.
Yeah.
So, and you also don't look so good. So if you really want to look your best, you better sleep. So that's been a struggle for me. And I've made strides to correct that, but that contributed to my health problems. Also, just not knowing how to handle my stress, not taking time to breathe deeply and have that shallow breathing just to keep getting through my to-do list for the day, not taking time to pause. Of course, I've always appreciated like nature, for example, but now I understand I need my walks throughout the day, my morning walk, my afternoon walk. And if I can fit in one more, I'll do it because I need to pull away in that quiet time in nature. And I wasn't giving that to myself. I had so many other priorities before my own self-care. And it was a hard lesson for me to learn. And these health problems would keep surfacing. I understand now that the universe was giving me lesson after lesson saying, you didn't learn it yet. Here's another one. Here's another one. Like it's from the headache to the worst that I wrote about in the book is my ear problem. I had something called a patulous eustachian tube. So it basically means that you have an echo. Thankfully, it was just in one ear, not two, but even one is enough to drive you nearly insane because you hear yourself breathe, you hear yourself talk. It is very difficult to teach, to talk, to carry on conversations. Hearing your voice, to record was horrific at times. It would take me like 10 12, takes, lots of takes sometimes because I would get distracted by how I was talking. And again, guess what one of the triggers is? Stress.
Yeah.
So stress, sleep deprivation, all of it was pointing to one big issue. I wasn't taking care of myself. I was doing my best to take care of the kids, run the household, be there for my students. I wasn't taking care of myself. And it really took me a while to fully get that wake up call to say, if you really want to do this successfully, you have to pull back. You need to pause. Writing helped me do that. I really did need to reflect. I pulled back seriously in August and with my teaching and wrote. And that was my process of reflection. And that catapulted me into a journey of self-growth, self-improvement. I've been doing a lot more reading, more quests online, trying to become more mindful and aware of what I need to do to be the very best I can be so that I can offer everyone the best I'm capable of. And I'm happy and proud to know that I have made a contribution. But boy, to think it possibly could have been even better if I had cared for myself.
Or it could have derailed. I mean, what you're talking about is what I call the need for a midlife operating system. And so we get into huge problems because we think it's okay to keep going the way we had, forgetting that 20, 30 years has gone by. And just exactly what you said, we could handle a little bit of sleep deprivation back in the day, but now you noticed big differences with that. And then the other thing is we are just so focused on taking care of other people as women, and especially women who have grown up when we grew up.
Yes.
Right. So we are products of that. And it really, turning 50 is a wake up call enough for many people.
Yeah.
But I love just the way you've taken the care to really see what was going on now in hindsight and sharing it. It's such an important lesson.
I've said to people with the book, it's like I had a choice. Either I'd have a full-blown midlife crisis or I could be productive. And I decided, no, I will reflect and be productive. And I came up with a book. So, but, I think as you're mentioning back in the day, I think about my grandmother who has been a model in so many ways, but she had this plaque in the kitchen that said, a man's work is from sun to sun, but a woman's work is never done. But it captures something, and yet there's a danger there. And she knew it and she lived it. And I saw it, it was modeled, and then I did it. We're trying to be superwoman. And I think that's even more of a danger when you're running your business. Like, again, we want to project success. We want to project competence, but there is this danger in trying to be this superwoman. Call it superwoman syndrome. I don't know if it exists, but we're trying to be everything that everyone expects us to be. And especially if you are successful to some degree in your life, you're known as an achiever. You're known as somebody competent, and people even will praise you, compliment you. That reinforces it then. Then you want to be everything that they say you are. And heaven forbid on those days you fall short of that. And that's a struggle right there. You have to be more forgiving of yourself. That was yet another lesson I've had to learn. And I only became aware of it within the past year that, oh my gosh, like I can be kind to other people. I can be compassionate to my students, but the negative self-talk, oh my gosh, I can be so harsh and so unforgiving sometimes when I don't always like to look at my videos or this. I'm like,
yes,
could have been improved. Oh my, I'm so unforgiving. And the way that I talk to myself is never how I would talk to a friend. Why do I do that to myself?
Yeah, I know. It's so true. Mean girl runs wild, One of the things I teach in my community is the importance of curiosity and compassion. And I always say curiosity and compassion for the win. Instead of mean girl, if we can just be more curious about what's going on up there as a neutral observer, as a curious observer of somebody who's watching our thinking, and just say, wow, that's interesting. Look at me. I'm thinking that way. I wonder why. Aw, look at me. Like sometimes I do that when I'm feeling anxious. Anxiety is one of my favorite go-to emotions. And I do say that now, instead of immediately being at the effect of the anxiety, say, oh, look at me. I wonder what I'm thinking to create that feeling for myself right now. And just that tone, instead of being hard on myself because of the pressure to produce, or as a lot of women in my community say, they don't even feel comfortable reading a book, for God's sake. You can't multitask when you read a book.
I've been forcing myself to make the time to read.
Really important. It's really important.
It is.
Okay. So what else happened for you during, now even when you find yourself really wanting to be one way and you were having some midlife hiccups? Is there anything else you can put your finger on?
Again, that misconception of trying to have it all. And that ties in with the superwoman. Like you can be that, you can be the wife, the mother, the teacher, you can do it all, have a beautiful house, all nice and dusted and vacuumed. I've let go of the vacuuming. If the rug doesn't get vacuumed for a month, I'm like, oh, well. So I realized I can't do it all. I can't have it all, quote unquote, have it all. What does it mean to have it all? And I think that's another lesson that I've learned, and I'd like to throw out there for people to consider, that you need to make choices. It's about trade-offs. And I would get upset with myself for feeling that I was making too many trade-offs and not being at a perfect 10 in all these different categories, and watch the numbers go down and realize it's actually okay. That was the lesson that I had to learn with YouTube. You know what? I don't have the energy of a 20-something-year-old who also doesn't have the obligations of a household and a family and kids. I tried for a long time to produce videos on a weekly basis. It's hard because YouTube videos are not 1-minute shorts. Now they have shorts. But if you do a video and you edit, sound edit, and do the image editing, also as a teacher, I might need to do preparation work, do some research, write the script. Easily, it can easily be 1 hour per minute. So a 10-minute video, 10 hours easily. 20-minute video, 20. It's hard to find that kind of time. I finally had to ask myself, well, will the world end if I don't produce a video every week right now?
Oh my gosh, that's the best question, because we have these ideas, we set goals, we set our calendar, and then the ability to look at it. It's like, is this really the priority I want? Is this really the schedule I want? Yeah.
I hit a million.
Thank you for pointing out how long it takes to actually do the editing that you're talking about. Because again, it looks like, oh, that's short, just whip it up. But it's not like that.
And I will also mention other people have outsourced things. I still am a one-woman show. I still do all my editing because it's very important to me that I'm hands-on. I make decisions during editing. I might add things to the lesson. So I don't want to just film and then hand it over to someone to create the video. I need to do it myself because I'm putting together instructional material. So yeah, it takes a lot. And when I finally realized, no, the world's not going to end, I also had to readjust my priorities. That I'm happy, I'm proud, I'm thankful to everyone who's helped me along the way to reach this milestone. But you know what? I don't think I need to hit the next one. I don't think I need another play button on my wall to feel fulfilled. It would be nice. I'm not going to complain if I suddenly find myself in another decade at 10 million, but I'm not going to prioritize that. It's actually not part of my vision right now. And I had to clarify that vision. What does it mean to be successful? I don't think I need to hit certain benchmarks that other people, by the way, have created for me to say that I have had a successful career. And so I think it's wonderful for those people who have had such a reach, and I applaud them for building such an audience. But for me personally, I think my journey will be meaningful and fulfilling, even if I don't reach the next play button.
Oh, I love that. So tell me, what have been some of the surprising things about being a midlife woman over 50 and being an entrepreneur?
I just think the fact that we have choices and not realizing that we have choices, thinking that, oh no, I have to do it a certain way because that's what they say that we have to do. I have to reach this milestone because that's what they say we have to do.
Yeah, they. Who are they?
They out there. You need to turn inward. And that's what I decided to do. I need to look inward for more of these answers. And then once I find the answers, embrace them, because when I put myself back out there, I will be exposed again to what they are saying. And I need to be confident and secure about the answers that I've arrived at and hold on to them. It's hard. The surprising thing is about comparisons. If I'm struggling and I've hid things, I'm sure that there are other people out there who have hid things and who are struggling. So we all need to remember that there's always a backstory for everybody. We tend to see the online success. We tend to see the numbers and are impressed by them. But please remember, each person did something to get there. There's a backstory behind every photo and video.
100%. Yeah, there really is. And showing up consistently for the amount of time that you have is remarkable.
Yeah, thank you.
It's remarkable. It really is. I mean, and anybody who is showing up consistently, if you're a regular exerciser, it's remarkable. If you are taking care of yourself and being really consistent about the way you're taking care of yourself, it's remarkable. I mean, as women, there's so many ways that we have urges and we feel compelled to put other people and other things and other agendas first. And for you to learn how to protect yourself and your goals that you've carefully considered, it's really something.
Thank you. I think it's also, if you put the good vibes out there, they usually attract the goodness back. And I've been so blessed that the people who tend to turn to me for instruction are these positive, amazing people. And I think that's true of a lot of people. If you do something passionately, it's going to resonate with the people who want your service, your product, whatever it is, and you will draw inspiration from them. So what keeps me going a lot are my own students, my own learners. And they're also the ones who've taught me so much about life. When I was doing like live streams and I'd have people hop on and talk to them about life, they're people of all ages, but we'd open up because everyone has to practice their English and we have to hit a range of topics. We're talking about marriage and family and career and all the things that are important to everyone. And hearing these people talk and knowing that they're from all around the world and we're all concerned about the same things, it's inspiring, it's strengthening. And they also helped me crystallize what my values were and what I needed to prioritize. You know, what is important about family? What is important about relationships? My students helped me realize all that.
Oh, that's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. And I love how you really just said, I'm a YouTuber, I'm a teacher, and you're a mom. Like, you're super clear on what those priorities are. And that wasn't the order that you said that you value them. Like you said it earlier in our interview, but you're really, really clear. And you've been at this a long time and you've shown such consistency and resilience. So Jennifer, I think you're doing an amazing job out there. Congratulations. And thank you so much for sharing it with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I think you're doing a wonderful job as a podcaster.
Oh, thank you. Oh, it's a love fest here at Women in the Middle Entrepreneurs. So good. All right. That is it for now. If you're listening and loving what you hear, please like and subscribe. Reviews are great too and much appreciated. And if you're a woman in the middle who's 50 or over and an entrepreneur and would also like to come on the show, please head over to www.midlifeinterviews.com and fill out an application. We'd love to have you on to share your story. Thanks so much for listening. It's never too late to put yourself on your agenda. I'm Suzy Rosenstein, and I'll talk to you again soon. Now, real quick before we say goodbye, if you are connecting with the show, I'd love to invite you to a happiness breakthrough coaching session. It's my laser-focused coaching call that will help you get clear about what's getting in your way as a woman in the middle entrepreneur and confident about your next steps to more happiness in your next chapter. Head over to www.nextchapterbreakthrough.com. Talk to you soon.